Damn, dog. You're gonna interview. I'm gonna interview with a naked man.
I guess
Bro,
so.
don't
Just
don't do it
make
that
sure
way, man. Don't do it that way. Y'all go ahead. Good morning.
make sure you don't turn on the camera then. Oh, we already got a
Well,
crowd
yeah,
waiting.
boy. Y'all go ahead, man. I'm here. I'm listening to y'all laugh my butt
Shit.
off in the
I
background.
know you said you always wanted to be out in the jungle, but fucking running around naked in your
Come
house
on,
because you
bro. Come
got
on,
plans
bro. Don't
doesn't
make it
make it the
awkward,
jungle.
bro. Oh my god. Anyway, I'm here. Y'all go. Y'all shoot. Let's get it.
Go get some clothes on. Fucking Tarzan. Hey Corey, how you doing, man?
Hey, how's it going?
All right. I guess a little bit better than Steve running around, half-ass naked in his house. I don't know what that's all about.
Yeah, that's interesting. Hopefully, you get some clothes on.
Well, we do need the views, so maybe we just turn on the camera on them and
We just start charging for viewers. Put it on.
we'll make it an OnlyFans
Yeah.
page. So what have you been up to, man?
Working pretty much, and just taking care of what I have now. Took a small hiatus from Instagram. I'm just doing my water
small.
change. Yeah. I don't know. I've just been feeling unmotivated to document lately, and it sucks because that's the whole reason why I started Instagram, was to document my fish, and I really want to get back into it. So that whole new year, new me saying I'm going to try to start taking more pictures and go back to how it all started, with taking pictures of my fish.
All right. Well, before we really get deep into the weeds, let me take care of a little bit of housekeeping. We'll say some hellos, and then we'll start digging into it.
Sure.
Because I do want to talk about a little bit about your background, because not everybody that's here probably knows about your presence out there and on Instagram. And so let me start up at the top real quick and see who we have here. Jeff King, thank you so much for being here with us. Hey Mark, Pals Aquatics, thanks. Yeah, I know it's the whole running joke about being on time, and obviously Steve wasn't on time because he showed up without clothes. So you got to give him a hard time about that one. Let's see who else. June, thank you so much for being here. Only Oscars. Tommy, hey, be careful driving back from your weekend getaway. So he was out there. He went out for a getaway with his wife, and the whole time he was out there rock hunting and for his aquariums. So he's coming back with the buckets full of rocks.
I feel like that's a normal thing for people like us.
Well, for me, you see, because whether I go up over here to the coast to by San Diego, going down, well, coming up from the valley up to San Diego,
Yeah.
We'll drive through, I guess it's forest, and there's a lot of manzanita.
Oh yeah.
So I'm always looking for that bush, because they'll do some road clearing, and they'll come with the spade on the side of the road, and they'll push back whatever brush is there. And I'm always driving to see if I see any manzanita that's been pushed over to go grab those roots.
Yeah, I do the same every time I go fishing. I'm always looking. I want to take something like dead that's been already separated. I don't want to interfere with nature or anything, but one day,
you can't take it if it's alive, but if it's already dropped and dead, most places will let you collect to a certain point. Either you're not going to show up with a pickup truck and fill up the bed of that truck, because then they're going to have questions. But
I think there's either a permit or certain areas where they do let you. You have to call like the parks, because I do know. I think it's Tom Barr that goes and collects manzanita from the wild, but I don't quote me on that. But I just think that maybe there's a license or something, but we shouldn't do it anyway. So let's not look up that information.
Let me continue with the hellos. We got Tommy, B Wizzle. Thank you, Brandon, for being here. Coral Works. Hey, Coral, thanks for joining us today. Linda Worth, thank you so much for being here with us. Let me see, who else do we have? That's it for right now. Well, again, thank you guys for taking time out this morning to join us. And today we're being joined by Cory Aqua. Hey, Cory, why don't you tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and uh, and all that good stuff.
Like, all right, my name is Kory Aqua. I've been in the hobby pretty much my whole life. I was born into the hobby. My dad was a fish keeper. He used to keep fronts back in the day. Now, and since then, I've been keeping different fish. We even had a local fish store for a while that I would take care of. And through that fish store, I had the opportunity to keep all types of fish. Ultimately, though, once I got a little older, I decided to go back to my roots, and I now have a 300 gallon, we'll round it off, 300 gallon Blue Air Kapampa tank that people seem to like. And um, I also just barely got into saltwater. So
Yeah.
I have
Well, okay. When you say you had a store, you guys used to own a store in your family. Is that what you're
yeah,
telling?
we had a local fish store. It was named Fish Corner.
Okay.
It was in the San Fernando Valley, and it was pretty cool. We basically bought a little hole in the wall and plumbed it, everything. We had the airlines coming through the walls and stuff like that. And it was a pretty cool experience because I got to meet a lot of people that kept fish. And at the same time, I got to learn a lot by working there because we would get fish from different places and some would be sick. I would have to like learn how to, uh, you know, make them healthier, stuff like that. I would say that a lot of my methods are still a little old school, but if it isn't broken, don't fix it, you know?
Well,
uh,
did the store specialize in any kind of species, or is just a regular like community fish? What was the store like?
well, back then, um, the thing that was really popular was African cichlids, Malawis.
Okay.
This was early 90s, mid 90s. And Malawis were the thing back then. So we had a lot of that. We had discus, which they were like crazy expensive back then, even more than what it is now for those that think the discus are expensive. And they were much harder to keep uh, because I guess they were still a little newish. Same with frontosas back then. I believe I don't know if theirs were even discovered because all I remember back then was like impressive Burundi tanks. In fact, my dad had a Burundi tank, and that was like the it thing back then. So
Now, was there information out there as far as how to keep them and stuff like that? Like today, there shouldn't be any reason why you shouldn't be able to keep a species because there's so much information out there. In the
yeah,
early 90s, I mean, internet was just in its infancy state.
we
Uh,
didn't even have internet back then. There was no internet like that. So what how we learned was just like word of mouth, talking to other store owners. It was actually a pretty fun time because the community was a lot closer back then because we were forced to go out and make friends and talk about stuff like that. Now it's just internet and somebody could just stay stuck at home all day, order food, order meds, watch YouTube videos, and not have to socialize with anybody. I kind of miss.
I'm over here grinning like a Cheshire cat. Keep it going, keep cooking, baby. I'm coming. I gotta get pretty.
I kind of miss that. I miss fish keeping before the internet because I'm also very into books, so I had a lot of books back then too, and it was a lot more fun than now. You had to kind of like hunt for your information. Now it's way easier, which is good, I guess. I'm just an old soul probably.
Well, the reason is because I remember in the, I guess, mid 90s. No. Late 80s, early 90s is when I was keeping fish, but I was what, about 16, 17 back then. And I didn't even know African cichlids were a thing. I didn't discover African cichlids until I started venturing back into the hobby. I don't know, like in 2003, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
No, more like 2013. Well, I started watching content for a long time, and I wasn't even contemplating the idea of keeping fish. It was more of a nostalgic thing, remembering, oh, I used to have fish, and that kind of thing.
You gotta chase nostalgia.
And so it started out with just me watching some stuff and not really giving it a second thought. I knew my schedule at the time when I started contemplating fish again. I was busier than hell, and I had my kids were still at home. Um, when you got three teenage kids, things can get a little tight because they have a
Yeah.
lot of needs.
Oh yeah.
So I didn't have a whole
Imagine.
lot of money to go around. And then at the time, I don't think my wife was working, and so priorities were different. There was other things that we needed to take care of, and so fish were like, yeah, it's cool. I used to have them, and just I would kind of live vicariously through the internet, watching other people's tanks and aquariums, but I never really was thinking, oh yeah, I'm going to get back into it. And it probably wasn't until a few years down the road, maybe like in 2008, 2009 is when I start kind of toying with the idea that, oh, okay, maybe I can. One day I'll keep a 20-gallon, because that's, I remember having when I first started, it was like a 10-gallon,
Yeah.
and it was one of those metal frames, the polished, like they looked like chrome, but it had a slate bottom. So it was a 10-gallon, but that sucker was super heavy because it had a piece of rock for the bottom plate. It wasn't glass. And I think I got that either off the sidewalk or like at a yard sale for like 50 cents or something. It was basically were giving it away. And so that was like the tank that I had. And nowadays, come to find out, those suckers are worth some money.
Yeah.
You go
It's
back
crazy.
and you look at some of the old. I remember the thermometers for the heaters, the aquarium heaters, were they were different. If I remember correctly, they had like the wires were coming over the top of the damn things, and if you weren't careful, especially with the metal frame tanks,
Yeah.
you could ground it, and if you
Yeah.
stuck your hand in the water and leaned any part of your body against the frame, that sucker would zap the hell out of you.
Dude, I'm telling you, if I had $1 for every time I'm doing a water change and I feel like a surge go through my hands, I'd have $100 by now, because that's it. That's how you know. Like immediately after that happens, the first thing I do is check the heater. Like, oh no. And sure enough,
Yeah.
there'd be like a crack or something. It's crazy.
Yeah, but this one, I don't think they were cracked. It was just the way they were designed. They were very different than what now they're all kind of vacuum tubes, and you could submerge them. I think, if I remember correctly, you couldn't fully submerge that heater. It had to be only like you had to
Oh
have
yeah,
a
the top of the head had to be up.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, nowadays the heaters are made better. I still don't trust a lot of like the cheapy Chinese stuff. My favorite brand when it comes to stuff like that is Eheim. It's really hard to get Eheim stuff nowadays, though.
Yeah.
I don't think they do. They still sell to the USA? Do they still have like a contract?
I know PetSmart carries their stuff, but I did notice that PetSmart is bringing in their own brands, and they're kind of replacing almost everybody else.
Yeah.
They the latest gadgets now are everything's Wi-Fi controlled, and so unmute your mic. There you
Hey.
go.
Yeah.
Man, I'm not a lame.
I like what Rico Stan said.
I had
He
put
said,
these on. I'm listening to y'all, man, and I had got like misty. I ain't even gonna lie. Y'all can laugh if y'all want. Me and Big Homie had did a little technical difficulty before the thing, and we was chopping it up, man, it is a pleasure to have you up here and finally rap with you for real
Yeah, man,
like that.
we've
Cause
been talking about
we've
this
been
for a
going back
while.
and forth for ever since y'all had you had came up with I think Ghost in them back in the day, like 21 or something. It was a minute. But either way, I'm listening to you and big homie Jorge Jalamo. Yeah, vibe like that. Getting bit by the fucking them steel frame tanks, bruh. Like the ballast, I had salt water. That ballast touched that shit, and that ballast around the ground, not through the rim on that jump. And then you over here trying to do something,
You end up
and it
tasing
bites
yourself.
your ass, bruh. And then I'm listening to the 90s. No, it wasn't no internet. We didn't even have internet like that. Nothing. We didn't have no internet. And the Malawis and the community and rapping, like what inspired you, where you get your information from, etc. Okay. And I'm like, I'm thinking about what transpired this weekend with me and my family, what me and my son was able to do the day it happened, December 10th. What it commemorated for me personally, all the people, everybody that I met, the conversations that we had, the exchange like that we had, and like it just like dawned on me, right? What I'm doing that it's bigger than me. That it's not the fish tanks and whoopty whoop wop. This furniture, like big homie Ivan said when he was up here a couple weekends ago. And it was families, it was the little dudes. I'm talking about baby kids, like 5, like that, giving them the dab, teaching them how to be cool and shit, giving them free stuff, you know, like, and I'm like, I'm the fish man, bro. I'm on the other side now.
Yeah.
There's nothing to bitch about. There's nothing to complain about. There's nothing to, this is our way, this is their way, the old timers, this and that. No, 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 no. Now is now.
Yeah.
And it's these opportunities, right? It's these doors that open, and it's what you do, right? When you get that opportunity. So, first of all, I apologize for my tardiness. It's not like on the strength of fuck y'all, I'm gonna show up when I want to. Excuse the French, but that's not the case at all. It just happened. So, nonetheless, but listening to just you two go back and forth, man. Normal people on a Saturday talking about keeping animals alive that we won't eat,
Yeah, exactly.
right? And then being able to go deeper than that and like connections, bro. Real life connections are made, bro. And like I met people that I felt like I've known. Big homie came up to me out the blue and was like, hey, I turned around and I looked. I was like, oh shit, what's up? It was homie Bob. He had drove to the H to come run around with the camera and film and stuff. And I was like, what's good? We chopped it up and it was love. And this is what we got right now. And we can really turn this art into a science and impact lives.
Yeah.
And there is a way for us to say the philosophy in it. There is a way to say like how fish tanks really did change and impact our lives without sensationalizing it and then saying, oh, by the way, here's my cash app.
Yeah.
I went there. We can do that. And it's beautiful because, oh man, It was mad people, bro. Mad people. And while you think that people aren't watching you and paying attention to what you do, juxtaposed to your silly thoughts, they very much are paying attention and watching what you do. And it goes to what I was telling myself, I was going to copy your ass and put me a stunt in a tank. You did?
Yeah.
And I was going to show you love, talk shit at the same time, copy you, / inspire myself, and then use that whole thing as an example to show like who I got the inspiration from, what made the inspiration. Is that's it. And we here. It's still here, Rico. That's literally why like I was like, what the hell? I'm over here misting up and shit. Because it's here. It is here. It is so here. And
Let me ask you this: do you guys put out like videos, or are you only doing live streams?
live
On this
stream.
channel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On this channel is exclusively for live streams.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
cool. So like,
And
I can,
I'm
I
gonna
can
be
add,
honest. I'm gonna be honest with you. The reason we did that because this channel we don't think it's ever gonna get monetized.
that's good though.
We didn't think nobody was gonna subscribe, to be honest. We were
Well, not only
literally
that,
walking
it's
the
just
walk.
having this platform, this channel here precisely kind of frees you up where you don't really have to watch what you're saying because you're not really worried whether it gets monetized or not or canceled. It doesn't really affect your the channels where you have your videos and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that was
Right.
kind of the idea. That was kind of the idea when Steve and I kind of created this. And then the other thing is you're not creating that constant, okay, whose channel are we streaming on this weekend? And then you start creating all
Right.
this confusion because you have
Yeah.
this going back and forth. So we purposely created this and figured, you know what? This way there's nothing restricting you from what you want to talk about or what you want to say because you're worried that it might affect your channel directly. So that was kind of the idea for this. That
Mhm.
and not having to go back and forth. So this one has really just become the place where Steve and I can both stream at the same time and be at the same
Yeah.
channel. And Steve can do what he always does best and go on his rants and all that stuff and not worry about anything.
It's not a rant.
That's perfect.
Like, and that's what I was getting at. That's what really made me get choked up. It's not even a rant. Like this whole week, that when I was over there at the place, it was well received. I was telling big homie Kory, I was like, bro, they need us. They need. I said it more candidly. I said they need some effort like us, like me, like you, like George, like the homies. And I was just telling her, I was like, the feedback that I got from the people as a conglomerate is YouTube, man. Damn YouTube. And I said, look, man, I'm not a YouTuber. I said, I have an extensive catalog on YouTube, and y'all can look whoop-de-whoop, but the information was well received. My input was that people are afraid to do anything because of the internet. It ain't what it was, what y'all was talking about. What I'm saying is here, that socialization, that air quote old timer mentality.
And you know what? You're right. Yeah, I noticed like when somebody loses a fish, everybody goes and jumps down their throat. But going back to my old school ways, like back in the day, if you lost a fish, it still sucked, but you that's how you learn from it too.
I mean, they
I
got a shelf
always
life.
tell people like after they lose maybe their whole tank, and they want to give up, I'm like, why? You're better now. You know one less thing to
I
do
know.
to avoid killing your fish. a little bit more success the next time. Like it's about the mentality. Glass half.
It is.
You know?
That's what I saw. You're 1,000% right. Is mentality, right? But when there is no environment, when we're not curating that environment to nurture said mentality of, hey, the whole point is keeping them alive, baby. But you have to understand that death is part of the process.
Hell yeah.
Now we start science. And what is science? An explanation for a natural occurring phenomenon that is otherwise not explainable. It has to be refutable, it has to be provable, all those things. And that part right there had kind of went whoop because of what you had said. The 90s, reading books and talking to them old timers, man.
Yeah.
And just to see that spark still alive, right? Like in the masses of the people, it felt amazing. It's here. And as far as I'm concerned, we good. We
Yeah.
just got to keep working, I want to ask you, since you up here now, I've been dying. I want to know from Cali, right?
Yep.
Born and raised.
Yep.
How y'all get down? Like you straight from the city, you on the edge. Like, did you have it to where like you could go and visit como contigo algo así? They live in the campo, or were you straight in the bricks? Like, how
Well,
was it?
LA is all city.
yeah,
Oh,
there's no combos
There's
here,
no
man.
country out
no
there.
campo. So like I'm
It's
saying,
all
like y'all gotta
concrete.
drive like 2-3 hours, whatever, but y'all didn't have none of that. None of that.
This is the concrete jungle. 3 hours for what?
Okay.
To
Yeah.
get out into nature.
Oh, to get
Yeah.
out. We have like little areas. Like I'm kind of near the mountains, so
Mm-hmm.
if I want to go somewhere nice, like I usually go to like Big Bear, Yosemite's probably like 5 hours away, but Big Bear is a little closer. Um, yeah, I'm right by the Angeles Crest actually, so it's not so hard for me to get into nature. But it's hard for me to find a stream that hasn't been touched. Like, yeah, like if you go
You
to
walked right into what I was gonna ask you anyway, bro. We vibing.
yeah,
Go ahead. Here, let me help you. I'll lead you a little more then.
I'll tell you a funny story actually.
Go ahead.
One day I found a stream, right? And I'm all excited. I get a fish tank. I put my phone in it and I put it down to record it. And I don't know if you ever saw it. It's a video on my on the reel that I made, and it's a bunch of mosquito fish. And I know they're just mosquito fish, but I was like, wow, like that's
don't say that. Don't say just.
So so like I'm over here taking pictures because I'm like I want to do a little biotype, right? And then I get a shovel and a bucket and I start putting the sediment and the dirt and the rocks in there. And I look up because I hear a noise and I see like some movement and I'm like, damn, is that a bear? Nah, it was a bum taking a fucking shit upstream from where I was at. I'm like, oh my God. And I've never done that again, dude. Never done that again.
Bro. Okay, so peep game.
I showered right after that, by the way. I went straight home. I just want to throw that out there. That was disgusting. I was like, I need to go get tested.
Horrible. Look, the Gambusia, I'm pretty sure they're finished. They're dope. I collect them. I love them. It probably Rico said it might have been a bow in it got down there. Boy, so based on that, right? You the little homie. Hey, how often did you interact with nature? Minus seeing finding out that bears do defecate in the woods. You know what I'm saying? B, what was the frequency? Okay. And based on that, and then your love of nature anyway. You grew up in the concrete jungle? I asked that because I'm drawing parallels with my own. You know, like I had it to where it was country, city, everything.
Yeah.
We it's like that. And did your love of nature give you what I like to call the eye for the beauty?
Oh
You
yeah.
know,
I've had the eye forever. Um, Rico Stan said, there's quite a few like nature areas set aside.
hmm
I like nowadays I like going to, like, we have different gardens, Japanese gardens, botanical gardens.
yeah,
I love that
I
kind of
love
stuff.
them. Me too.
When I was a kid, um, I would say we frequented nature a lot because one, I played baseball my whole life, so
Okay, okay,
some parks would have like reservoirs and all kinds of like native flowers
okay.
growing around there. So
Yeah.
that always caught my attention. And my dad was also a fisherman, and I would always go with him when he went fishing. So
Okay.
I
Okay.
was always around it. I loved it. I mean, I love the city too. I'm a city boy. I'm not gonna deny it, but I don't mind making a getaway. Like I told my girl one day, like if we ever strike it big, we're definitely gonna get a cabin in Big Bear. Like I want to own a cabin. Like I love fishing, catch and release, of course. Fish are friends, not food.
Right.
And yeah, you want to know something cool actually that I could tell you guys. For my birthday, late October, I rented a cabin up in Big Bear. We went up there with some
Okay.
friends. I rented a boat, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go trout fishing. They didn't. I forgot my or the, actually I keep my tackle box in my car, and
hmm
I had loaned my mom the car for a few days. 'Cause something happened to hers, and on the day that I was gonna leave to Big Bear, I realized, oh, my tackle box. It's not even here. So I went up there. I went to the local fish store. I tried to buy what was it? Power bait, because that's what they buy it on up in Big
Yeah.
Bear,
The low ball. Yeah.
and they didn't have any. So I bought worms, right? So I'm kind of like in the middle of the lake, a little bit off to the closer, maybe between the shore and the middle of the lake, right? And I'm casting. I put a weight on it. I let the weight hit the floor, and I see that I'm getting bitten, right? Um, so I reel it in, and I'm catching what the hell are they called? Um, there's a beer named that. They look like scorpion fish. Oh, sculpins. I'm catching
Scorpion.
freshwater sculpins up in Big Bear. I've never caught a sculpin before. I didn't even
Oh
know Big Bear
yeah.
had
Pero,
sculpins.
what'd you do? Con maíz? What'd you put? It froze when you were
Worms,
saying.
dude, worms.
Solo
And they were
gusano. Yeah, nada
they were
más.
small, and they were trying to take down the whole worm, dude. And I wouldn't even hook them. I was pulling them up, and they were just biting the worm.
Hold
It
on
was,
to the like a pit bull.
yeah. I was like, dude,
Uh,
I want to take some home, but it's illegal. Don't take any home. But
no,
dude,
no,
freshwater
this is what I
sculpins,
want to get up out of you. This is what the people want to know. I have a knack for doing this stuff, man. So and like I zone out because like while you be talking, I like live off in the story. Like when you had threw that in there by Big Homie using the bathroom in the water. I mean, at least he was in the water that way nobody wouldn't step in it. I stopped my vision abruptly. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
So it goes though. You catching the sculpin like when you was little. You go fishing with your uncles or pops, everything.
yeah.
Was you one of them weirdos like me? So where like fish, food, not friends type thing. Cool. I eat fish,
Yeah,
but I'm on that level too. Like man, he pretty,
yeah.
which is what frames my question. I would get yelled at. I get in trouble or whatever because I'm playing with the bait. They always I know come on, it's the seals. It's the bait.
Yeah.
So was you weirdo like that to where you were playing with the bait, but you just like being out there, and
I
then too when you was in the city.
I
Was
would
you
be
weirdo like weeds? You know,
that's
if you was in a
try
back alley next to a
yes.
dumpster and you saw some weeds growing and shit in a mud puddle, whatever, something that very innocuous that most people would just walk by. Like you go at the baseball field, all the other boys getting their laps in, before coach get off in that ass. You see a mud puddle in the trail because the four wheelers keep making
Yeah.
it that way. When it rained, there's tadpoles in it and shit. You in there looking at the grass and the tadpoles, etc., trying to
Yeah.
like, holy shit, it's an ecosystem. Was you on that vibe, or when did
When
you turn
I
that
was a
that
kid,
way?
no, but if I would see like a puddle with like I wouldn't be like holy shit it's ecosystem. I'd just be like, oh cool tadpoles, and you know.
Okay.
But I would not stop running because coach would be on my ass. So I'd come back around and
I'm
just keep
trying to
looking
tell you,
at
bro, coach was in my ass. I don't care. I had the ADD too. That's what they say. You know what? The more that I educate and dig, and the more until you got to look at it like where your sources are too, like who's saying what. Even with scholars like doctors and stuff. Um, this whole thing with the ADD and so on and so forth. I'm not directly inferring anything. I don't want nobody trying to eviscerate me. But I do believe that that's adaptational. Like you supposed to be doing shit, right?
yeah,
Like, and the only reason I say that is because nature is my church. The
yeah.
woods calm me, right? Like after my mom passed away, it was funny too because I do think that the internet, like the ether, is inside your mind, right? Because I
Mm-hmm.
was joking. I joked with Jorge about this. I joked with Jay Watts about this. A few people. You what? Are you an '80s model? Did you grow up in the '80s and '90s, or just the '90s?
Late 80s,
Okay, so
87.
you touched the '80s. That's good enough. It's relevant. We was joking about how when we was little, like emotional availability, right?
Yeah.
And some things you don't talk about. And we had movies. We had Don Bluth movies. Like we watched shit that kids shouldn't probably watch.
Oh yeah.
Like Bambi, The Land Before Time, American Tail, All Dogs Go to Heaven. Like these movies are dark, but we watched them as kids. What's the other one? Dark Crystal. What's the one with Falcor in it? Classic movies, right?
Not Land Before Time.
Come on, y'all, help me. What's that movie with Falcor in it? It's oh my god, I cannot believe this. I'm so
I
sorry,
know what you're
Falcor.
talking about though.
Betrayal. What is it? Never ending story. Boom.
Never ending. Yeah,
That's
there
it.
it is.
All right, I had to scream it, y'all. So I was talking, we clowning about that, bro. All of a sudden, I see this post on Instagram a couple days ago, and they were showing the part in what you call it, where Littlefoot Mama got killed. You know what I'm saying? And I had made the joke because I had made the joke that like when I was little,
Yeah.
the scene in Bambi when the mama got shot, we was all little dumbass kids, but all the kids would
Yeah.
look at me. You know, it was kind of awkward, but 80s is the way. Shut up. Like it ain't that big of a deal. Or they'd be like, oh, it's okay. It was the 80s, So they
Yeah.
come over there, show me love, like put an arm around me or something like that. And you good. For real. We kids, bro. And then Don Bluth films. I made a comment, Don Bluth, the emotionally available man that we all wish we had in our lives, but we didn't because we raised ourselves. I was just being a jackass. It was fun,
Yeah.
So I was looking at this whole thing, and the internet It's gotta be in your head, you know, because this scene of you catching Gambusha, putting them in the thing, looking at them, and bro, who, who that is a villain like us in Aquaria, keeping algae and amoebas and no, we are the known, we the bad news bears. It's cool. In our villain arc, right? In our villain origin arc, everybody that I know has some semblance of the Gambusia in a vessel story, some variation of that story. And I like to use that as the parallel to show how something so innocuous at the same time can carry so much meaning, simply because as long as we got Gambusha, we still tanking. I mean that. I don't give a damn if it's a Ziploc bag, some chopsticks, a couple rubber bands, some AC lint that's been well rinsed. You still tanking.
Yeah.
As long as we got them puppies there. And it's a crazy analogy. I know I was being egregiously excessive on purpose, but nah, think about that.
Yeah.
Who you think? I know I could pull that off. If I could figure out, if I could stabilize a Ziploc bag, a gallon size Ziploc bag, I could absolutely. And when I say stabilize, keep it to meaning like make it to where I could keep it open. You know,
Yeah.
I could keep Bambuja in there.
Yeah, I
I know I
believe it.
could. And
They're
so it's
tough
like
little
that part of that nature, right? What sparked this journey where you at now, right? An adult, big tanks, looking at this journey of what you wanted to really talk about when we when we
Oh,
chopped it up earlier of this when Jorge had his vision, his little epiphany a couple months ago, and he was like, I gotta change my ways. And what sparked it with you? It came from pain, but like how?
damn, it got deep.
It be like that, dog. It be like that. Welcome
I was
aboard.
like, like, what do you mean though? Like, um,
What
I guess what he's
happened
trying to get at is
in,
why did you
in your
start doing
life
more of the
that made you
biotype?
say, I don't give a shit? This
oh,
is acceptable and it's not wrong and it is beautiful. And that
I
word is
guess,
subjective anyway. And the fish are happy. And I'm gonna rock on. And now it is art. And now I am gonna show it. And now I'm on Fish Planting Mas, getting
to be
heavy with
to,
Steve and Jorge.
to be honest, I've been doing this my whole life. I was doing biotopes before I knew it was called biotopes. Um, I always looked at everything, every stream, every lake I went to. I always looked at the rocks into it. I always saw the sediment. I always thought that was cool. My thing is like, I guess, I guess back then I looked at my tank like a zoo exhibit. I wanted that. I love animals, period, dude. That's not just.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't just stop at fish, you know. Um, and I've always just loved the natural aspect of it. I wanted my fish. I wanted to. The way I would describe it is like I want to take a piece of Africa and have it in my house. I want to take a piece from South America and have it in my house. I want to be able to look and be like, this is Africa. Like when I want to look at my Frontosa tank, a lot of people like my Frontosa tank, but honestly,
Yeah.
to me, it doesn't look like Tanganyika, and it really pisses me off. I've tried different things. I need to
Yeah.
find good rocks,
Yes.
Um,
Yes. Yeah. It's
but
called standard,
yeah, but like
unwavering.
I've
Hey. Yes.
always
Yeah.
been doing this.
I support that. I support that, man. Hey, that's bruh. And then what this does is it allows everybody that just heard the sound of your voice, it gives them something, right? To go, I can identify with that. I can get behind that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like
and you want to know something
me
funny?
too. You feel me?
I didn't know about boosts or some of these plants that are being imported in,
Mm-hmm.
because all we have out here is like bacopa and coontail,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
that's, to me, that was all I really cared about. When we got into
Mm-hmm.
when we had the local fish store, that's when we started getting Anubias in and some of these other
Mm-hmm.
plants that I've never even seen before. And if you think fish were something back then, plants were even harder to keep back then because nobody grew
Hey,
them
I've
in the US.
been doing. Hey, trust me.
I
Hey,
don't.
this is
Do
beautiful,
you guys
man.
know when CO2 was actually used? I
Yes,
know the story of
yes,
how. What year was it?
yes. So, oh wow. So they been using CO2, bruh.
Yeah,
Yes. What you're alluding to when you're talking about when did CO2 become prevalent on a, excuse me, non-exhibitory, non-horticultural, and or industrial professional scale, ready to use in the home. I mean, shit, you can get a adapter for a goddamn paintball gun off of Amazon like for
yeah.
$5 now. I don't recommend that, but you can do it. And I'm not saying if you are using it that you're doing something wrong. Please, if it worked for you, baby, keep doing it. Hell, I got one. That's why I say I don't recommend it because it ain't work for me. Shit. So I digress. But
uh,
the prevalence of it is within the last 25 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
I remember like in the 90s, CO2 started getting a little bit more popular. I don't want to say it like caught on fire. Like it's on fire right now. Everybody
It's on fire
thinks they
now.
need CO2 for everything,
Uh,
But
Post 2005, really and truly between 2005 and 2008.
yeah, that's
King
probably when
Kong,
aquascaping
King
became a
Kong's
big
dropped, and King Kong's dropped in 2008 here. Taiwan, I think they have been having King Kongs. Um, I think the first book got to America in the late 90s, early 2000s, between 97. I'm trying to remember when I bought it. I'm talking about Sensei Amano's his first real hardback book that had his classic pieces in it. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
That book.
I have
My
a
favorite
few
is
of
the
those.
60 cube with the angelfish in it.
Yeah,
Um, and I like the other one too, the Iwagumi, the whispering. Oh my goodness, I don't remember. I'm ashamed of myself, but it's the one. It's the Iwagumi that has a Monte Carlo carpet, nothing else. Obviously Iwagumi, but rounded stones
yeah,
and blue background. And I think he had some. I want to say Ember Tetras in it, but that book, I think I had bought that book in '99. I was in college the first time. It had to be around '99, somewhere in there. But even then, CO2 was elusive. Um, it was extremely expensive, and oh God, when I think about it, it's dinosaur shit. Like what you're talking about, the slate bottom tanks and the stainless steel frame tanks. And I remember one of my first live streams on Warrior Planet Tanks, like that was the question was, do you need CO2? And I said a hard no, you don't. And
So let me ask you this before you,
it was
with the
information bias.
CO2,
Go ahead.
with the CO2, the reason, and this is my take on it, but I don't know a whole lot about it. I think the only reason why I see a lot of people going to CO2 is because it just speeds up the process of the growth of the plant, or is it because the plant actually needs the CO2 to be able to grow?
There are certain plants that are in certain habitats that do experience a lot of CO2, I believe.
So it's
That's
not a
what.
necessity then to run the
Well,
CO2.
remember
Some
the
do
oh, go
require
ahead.
CO2.
It's what remember. It's exactly what Kory's saying. Remember the plant stream when me and Roy was up here, okay? And my analogy that I always use for you, Jorge, when I was telling you, we are replicating the damn ditch. All right. So
Okay.
you have the atmospheric CO2, you have increased surface agitation, you have the shallow water, you're going to have an extreme of temperature in either direction because it ain't summer all year round,
Mm-hmm.
and you're going to have full exposure to sunlight. And in that environment, the plants exhibit that growth form. Now, the reason people argue about CO2 and the reason we're even having this conversation right now is because of one word and one word only, and that word is sustainability. And the reason we argue about CO2 is because we don't understand that it's not a question of is CO2 sustainable or not, it's a question of application. There's no hard, yes, you have to have CO2 for this. It goes back to some of the mantras that me and Jorge always say, one of which is know your purpose, state your purpose. What's your purpose? And this is just empirical data per application. I can take the same plant and expose it to different variables per the application for a desired result. That is the science, meaning that people, our peer group, have done the same thing rigorously over and over again, expecting the same results, and they recorded what they got and tweaked and peaked along the way to develop a methodology. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not to say that I can take Ludwig senegalensis, which I got my hands on, S21. He hooked me up. I can take that Ludwigia senegalensis and I can grow it in its immersed form with CO2 or without. I can grow it immersed in water with or without CO2. I can change the light. I can change the temperature. And no one variable is going to be, you know, influenced, or I should say, independent of the other variable, if that makes sense. Meaning,
Yeah, it does.
you know, the independence of the CO2 as an element has nothing to do with my choice of light, my water source, and the parameters of that water to include pH, TDS, etc., the temperature, the stability of that. Hell, my light cycle, you know? Am I running a 12-12? Am I running a 10, a 4, 6? You know, am I running a siesta period? Like, what am I doing? Right. And that's why I got misty when you and Big Homie George was vibing earlier, because this needs to be, we are we are cultivating this environment here where we can get our hobby on, because with the internet, it becomes more about the personality. It's like when I tell my son, I shared this with you guys, that being a POS, piece of crap, you know, it's a choice. Because
Yeah.
anytime that you put your your nonsense in front of the greater good in a like entitled way. Like you deserve it. You don't have any desire or intention to try to put good out. You just want to take. That's a choice.
Yeah.
So
let me ask you this then.
yeah.
Can you mimic the effects of CO2 with lighting and water level? Meaning that the shallower the water, is that going to help the plant any better or worse?
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying. This is yes. I'm gonna say yes, and let me explain, please, before people will go, oh goddamn. No, let me explain. So in this application, understanding it, I will say yes simply because if the plants are exposed to the atmospheric CO2, if the plants are exposed to specific light, the light's going to be a different variable nonetheless because your water depth has changed. So the penetration of the light, that's changed. So what the plants are actually getting exposed to that they can take to complete photosynthesis, move the glucose in the water, it's gonna have effects. It's not for me to infer whether they're going to be positive or negative. Again, that goes to your purpose. To spoon feed it so people don't try to say I'm dancing around the shit. If you expose your plants to CO2, they're going to grow different. If you give your plants good light, they're going to grow different. If you give them the optimal temperature, they're going to grow different. Can you get the same results from growing that way versus injected CO2? And I'm going to say that's a hard no. You cannot. Again, though, this goes to application, your methodology, and your purpose that you have for these desired results. Nothing more, nothing less. If you wish to use CO2, then use it. If not, that's fine too. And this is the best way to break down all those stigmas and stuff and just have an objective conversation. I'm not for or against CO2. Hell, I got a bottle over there. I need to go get filled.
The only reason I was asking is because of this. It's not, a knock on it, but it's just an observation.
Not at all. Yeah.
The reason, and I don't know, you see, because I don't understand CO2, the use of it and all that stuff, because I don't use it.
Most people don't.
But here's the thing: is the reason that they're using it is because those plants are in deeper, are being, I guess, grown in atmospheres that are not necessarily replicated in nature. Where a lot of these plants that are very colored and vivid tend to be more on the riverbanks versus in the deep sections of the river where the light source is not as good. So is that why they're using CO2 to be able to grow them in these deeper water, or like in an aquarium that's like 30 inches tall, where your light's not getting all the way down to the bottom? The par of the light is not as efficient, so you're using CO2 to help that? Or is just, see, that's the whole thing that I've always tried to understand about CO2.
Okay, yes.
I think CO2 occurs
yes.
where there's a lot of light exposure.
Right. It's an augmentation is what you're saying. In that application, the scenario that you just described, okay, what you would say is you're using CO2 as an augmentation. Why? Because you are replicating a ditch. That growth obviously exists somewhere outside in nature, because we up here talking about it not.
It's even easier than that, because lately what I've been seeing, the trend is a lot of these shallow tanks that they're doing that are not very, and I noticed that on those tanks they're not running CO2, but yet the plants seem to be growing a lot better and the colors on those plants is almost similar to what you would see to, let's say, a Dutch aquascape tank
Yeah,
that
Dutch
runs
planted
CO2.
tank.
That's what I was wondering
That's
if
a
the
ditch.
depth.
Yeah, it nailed it. So low boy tanks, which I love. Finally, they're catching on. The custom cuts, I love them. Your water depth is reduced, just like a ditch. Your atmospheric CO2 is increased. The exposure, just like a ditch. Your light, the depth penetration is reduced, just like a ditch. So if it was a recipe, we got everything we need. All we got to do is mix it up and, put it in a pan. So if it to help you not be confused, yes. Now, take what you said before about the 30-inch deep deck, right? Same light quality, if not better. Okay. The only variable that has been changed is the volume of water that CO2 has to saturate, A, and the depth of that light that it has to penetrate to get to those plants so it can photosynthesize. Also, you have to keep in mind too that with that depth, the pressure changes. That is going to have an effect on the vascular growth. And see, when you get into all these variables like that, the more you begin to understand, the more my hope is that y'all give me a pass for being so damn disgruntled and angry because all this stuff is so silly to be arguing over. No one person is going to keep an aquarium the same. I could go get me some money some damn well one day and purchase some gear and pick 5 people and give all 5 of those people the same gear, the
Same
same
water too.
laptop, same everything. Yeah, I give them RODI, everything. And all of those people are going to give different results. It might be a minute nuance, but nonetheless, it's still going to be a difference. And once you wrap your head around it that way and understand that it's just methodology and application, then you get to play. It's like a mechanic in a tool bag of understanding this gnarled mess of grease and rust and, injury hazards. Well, by the time I get through touching on it, I'm going to have 5 GTA stars, red and blue lights. And I think that right there, we keep doing this. We keep cultivating and nurturing this mentality right here to where everybody, you know, get their PPs off the chopping block, like we not here for none of that. And we just really get objective and get some science. We be all right. Respect, I think, is the first thing that has to be implemented. But to answer your question fully and solidly, do plants need CO2? Yes, they need CO2. It's a necessary part of them metabolizing sugar and converting nitrogen back and carbon. Your raw elements, they have to have CO2. That's part of it. In an aquarium, is CO2 necessary for plants to grow? Well, we all know the answer to that. We can agree that CO2 is merely one of the bazillion augmentatory components that may or may not enhance your capabilities for the desired results depending on your application. That's it. That's it. That's what I got for the whole thing with the CO2 in plants.
He's right. He's right.
All right. Well, going back to Kory then. So you grew up in a fish store as growing up as a kid because your family had the store. Now, at what point, I guess, and this is what Steve was trying to get out of you earlier. When does it
Mm-hmm.
go from you keeping a regular aquarium into really focusing on doing biotopes and biotypes? Where does that? I know you had originally said that that's something you had been doing, but when did the consciousness come into play and say, "Oh shoot, this is what I've been doing all along"?
Uh, Instagram. Um,
Okay.
Real?
that's how I learned about aquascaping. I was already aquascaping, but I learned the name for it through Instagram. And
Ah.
um, yeah, and from there I started learning the terminology for it. So I was like, okay, so I like biotoping, and I'd always just keep an eye out and see what people are doing under that category. Um,
Uh-huh.
and just like you said, copying them, taking a few things that I like, and I started really to develop a style with aquascaping because I try to do just aquascaping. I went from like biotopia to aquascaping, and then I started playing with
Mm-hmm.
different styles, like diorama style, which means like you kind of make a little scene out of
You
your
don't have to.
aquarium. It really taught me doing that. Really taught me about depth and like the depth perception and uh, perspective. And then I got to meet a lot of friends at Aquascape, and they told me some advice, um, like telling a story with what I want to do. And um, pretty much I did the aquascaping thing for a few years, and then I was like, all right, I'm done playing here. I'm going to go back to my biotopes. So when I came back into biotopes, I kind of brought that diorama aspect into it, and that's pretty much what got kind of my style. So yeah, you could call some of my tanks traditional biotopes, like for example the one with the knees, but it's also not too tradition. It's not a traditional biotope because I'm adding smaller pieces in the background and stuff, and you're not gonna find that in nature. But from a distance, it just makes me look like I have more space than I do, and I just love
Mm-hmm.
that. At the end of the day, I love to make. To me, a compliment is somebody saying, "Oh my god, I thought that was a 50-gallon tank," and I'm just like, "Nah, it's a 10-gallon. No, it's a 20-gallon." Uh,
Yeah.
I take that as a compliment. I love hearing that when people tell me something like that. It's does me right.
No, no, no. It's I've been saying diorama, and I've been up here like explaining, like not explaining what a diorama is, but like explaining, like apologizing, like I'm a weirdo, like like I was just 80, y'all remember the diorama and the shoebox, and then here you come with your little stumps and your gingo rubric and shit. Oh boy,
Yeah.
I was talking. Oh, I was talking shit too, cause I seen that. And I felt some kind of way. I was like, man, that's so good. I'm angry. I hit Jay Watts up. I hit Jorge up. I was like, y'all see this shit? Y'all see this shit? Big homie done sit up here and he gonna go put the fancy guppies in the damn swamp. And they look so good, like they belong there and shit. And if did nobody know better, they would think bloop bloop bloop. And then that's when I started clowning you, and me and you started going back and forth about the feeder guppies because we was trying to explain to people about Poecilia wingae versus Poecilia reticulata, what an ornamental fish is, what a hybrid fish is, etc. And okay, I just exposed the child. That's the psyop is there's no beef, and even now, Kory, now there's nothing in that. The inference is iron sharpening iron. When you love somebody, you appreciate what you see them doing that you resonate with. you show love by talking smack.
Yeah.
You copy it. You get permission, and you keep it GP. You keep everything above board. It's that simple. And it's a beautiful thing. The Ginga rubra. What sparked you to put that fish in there of all fish? Besides the fact they food and shit.
It's, to be honest, we were talking about this a little earlier. I'm kind of, I was a supernaturalist. I hated flower horns, and I liked natural looking fish. I've always been that way.
Mm-hmm.
But I kind of just realized, like, you know what? If I'm gonna be a naturalist, and I was all about my wild fish, I just started to feel guilty. Just because I like it, I want to preserve it. Maybe one day go visit. Maybe one day take my kids to go visit and check out some cool fish in South America or even Africa. You know, that's when I started getting like a newfound kind of respect for all the selective bred fish, even the hybrids. Like if it will help in preserving what's out there in our world now that is struggling, I'm all for it. So instead of me going out and getting some wild collected fish from Florida, which I have had before, but somebody actually mentioned it, Jonas. But he also does a lot of his breeding, so I try to avoid picking wild fish. And at the end of it, I was just like, well, I have these gangarubras. Everybody always has them in nice, clean, clear water with beautiful plants. They're beautiful fish. They're expensive little guppies too. I said, why not?
Yeah, they are.
Why not put them in something muddy with a little tint in the water? And to be honest,
nice? Oh my god,
I feel like that environment really brought out their colors. They glowed.
They look better in that water than they look in crystal clear water. Based off of that, I'm trying to tell you. And then me and Watts, we'll be going back and forth. Me and Jorge, I had chopped it up with Roy a couple times. And the inference is these fish come from that water. It's nasty, it's dirty. They communicate with them colors. I'm inferring that they must communicate with those colors some kind of way. I then found that email from this blog I used to follow back in the day from Dr. Sexton and Dr. Endler talking about this batch that they had just got in like the 80s and 90s, right? And they found them in pea green water, bro. Pea green colored water. When big homie Yvonne was up here the other day, and I was asking him, hey, you from Venezuela, right? Is it patos or platos? Because it's a big difference between a plate and a duck.
Yeah.
This tank I have right here is one of those communication tanks. I wanted the water to be turbid, slightly stained. I wanted to have a nice bloom of phyto, and all the fish in here communicate via color. This the one you didn't seen it. It's got the 1975s in it, all male. 1975s, y'all. These are supposed to be the closest you can get to the OG.
Hey, George, can you leave it on that picture?
I was trying to find out.
Yeah, it's got the rummies. Yeah, go back. It's got rummies in it and red Venezuela chorus. But You put those ornamentals in there. Look at these stumps, y'all. So go
I was
look
just
on
gonna
his
say,
page and look at the
remember
video.
my remember my story earlier about the bum using the restroom?
Yeah, yeah.
Look at the fish that are in there. Guess where those are from?
Same place. Same
Yeah.
place. See? So
And the way I try to set this tank up, like when I set this tank up, I thought about the side panels and I wanted to make it look as if the tank expands beyond the
right.
side. So like when I put it together and I take this picture, do you see the reflections? How it looks like knees?
Yep.
Yeah.
Like I that's what I was going for. I
No,
wish
you
that
pulled it off, bro. I told you that. Where's my comment at on that? I know I'll be talking cash, bro. I don't care though, because we got to break those barriers down of attaching virtue to stuff that's virtuous. You know what you did. I know what you did. For y'all that's listening, the takeaway is seamlessly merging art and nature together
I
to
love it.
where that is a nature inspired tank. And if you didn't know any better, you would think that it is perfectly natural. And in the year of our Lord 2023, it damn sure is, because we got a zillion invasive species all over the country. So, I mean, hell, I can go get some plecos right now, some Trinidadians right now. At the bottom, right now, we got tilapia, we got all kind of stuff. I mean, I'm gonna say I think it's cool in the extent that them fish out there, and I ain't got to go to the zoo or to the pet store to see them. Like, they texting now. That's cool. It's uncool that the majority of that stuff, and I do say majority because I'm being objective. The majority of it is an ecological
Yeah.
disaster. It's a no bueno. And how he was able to do something like this, to pull this off, when I said that, of having something, somebody, right, to be like the stick to, like, I stand behind that, I support that, me too. Oh, he doing the same shit as me. This is dope. This is why we saved you for this whole joint after all these shows we done did, bruh. We
Thank you.
needed the perfect person that could encapsulate through example, through projects you got right now, what
I,
we have been talking about, that not only is possible, you
like
doing it. Look at those allocations.
if you
Ah,
go up a little bit, right above the Fantosa one, click on that picture, dude. That's a bluefin killifish.
that's a bluefin.
It's a
I just got me
beautiful fish,
some.
dude.
Thank you, big homie.
Yeah, dude,
For
they are
sending me some.
beautiful.
You know who you are. I'm not gonna say it because I don't want nobody to rush him. He ain't got that many. But
You're gonna
I
have
told you,
fun with
I
those
copied
fish,
you. I
man.
copied you, boy. I'm gonna put all the fish in there, but I don't know about the gingarugas.
Yeah, no,
You can trade it for something. You want some
I
boost?
had removed them already, and
Okay.
that's when I put the natives in.
Yeah, I've seen that. What'd you do with them though? That's what I'm saying.
Well, the
They are
Gangarugas,
live there. Yeah.
I traded them, and then this might make some people cringe. Uh, that's the Everglades, which is the same tank. I just switched it up.
That's dope. I like that boy. I like
That's
that.
truly how in my head I'm like, this is how it really looks. You know,
Yeah,
the
bro, the
knees
monster and
protruding.
everything, bro. You did that, bro.
Yeah.
No, bro. That's nice. I like that. I told you I'm gonna copy you, boy.
If you
I'm gonna
guys
do.
haven't, these guys are really fun too. The least killifish, they're dope little fish.
The
Very
Formosa, yeah.
yeah.
So if you would, for the people, tell us your complete stock list that you have in this setup for the
Um,
Everglades one.
So I had bluefin killifish, least killifish, and you can't see them in there, but pygmy sunfish,
Okay.
Elosoma evergladii.
You're birding? Okay.
And that was my little setup. Uh, I really like the hydrocaudal too. If you notice, I put
Yeah.
like the smaller disc ones in the back section
Yeah.
and the bigger discs up front, just to try to get me some more depth.
Is
And
that
then
Vulgaris or Braziliensis? Which one is that?
that's
Picture.
verticulata.
The reticulator.
Hmm.
Where'd you get that? We don't have that one, I don't think. We got
we,
Vulgaris. We probably
we
do got verticulated invasive, but we got, you don't see it a lot. I've seen it a few yards I've seen it in, but it's all over Florida. The big one, the Braziliensis,
yeah.
that one, the giant dollar weed.
I wish I
I don't even
found
think
some
you
of
have
that.
it. I don't know.
I wish I had found some
Which
of
some
that.
boots? Some
Some of the
what, the
bigger
giant?
ones to put up front. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk after the show.
Oh, that's another one that I could show you. The in the wild. I could. Oh no, that's just a funny one that I made.
Okay, tell the spec, like what size tank is it?
That
You
was a
know,
10
if
gallon.
some of the people want to try it, what you
Technically,
running?
it was a 9 gallon.
Okay.
George, click on the one that says in the wild. Yeah, check this out. Check this out. I'm fishing, by the way. This is a fishing thing that I was doing.
Yeah, I seen this. This is dope.
That's Bacopa right there.
Mm-hmm. Look at it.
That's pretty damn cool, huh? I love seeing that kind of stuff.
And so something you brung up since we on this video, you were talking about native plants, and then you was like, shit, plants was harder to come across information than the fish was back then.
Yeah.
One of the things that I thought was cool is I met somebody that actually keeps native and endemic plants besides myself that don't think they're weeds. So I was talking about the Luigia and stuff, and I was like, yeah, man, I got some native Luigia. I got palustris and I got repens. And he was like, there goes the rubra. He was like, you got natives? It's a big homie from S21. Y'all go check them out. I'm plugging them. They sell plants. They got a lot of cool stuff. There's two homies. One from Wisconsin, and I think the other one is in North Carolina, but it's S21 Aquatics. But we were talking about the native plants, bro. Then you go over there, you come up on that stand of Bacopa moneri. That's invasive.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that though. It's not native, but it's what we call established now.
Yeah.
And when people get on the fish police vibe and they want to say, oh, that's not a depiction or this or that, like you said, it was cringe because you had the Monstera in there. I knew what you was talking about, but a lot of people don't know Monstera run wild in Florida for shit show and a few
crazy.
other places in the southeastern United States. So, I mean, is it a historically accurate depiction, or I would say restoration of a wild area? No. Historically, no. Is it like right now accurate? Yeah, that's what's out there. And this art is a message. And in the message is the education, because people have to research to go look it up to say which plants go in here. Oh, I want to do Florida. I want to do Sarasota, or I want to do Opelika or Manatee or whatever. You know, I want to do Texas. Where you at? You in Cali. I want to do the different watersheds y'all have over there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go look at the resources, our naturalists, Esh Myers, Fish Base, Wikipedia, whatever. And they start to looking at the plants, they start to research and they see this stuff. And then they understand invasive. What's that? What does this mean? How come I can't have? And then when they go to whoever, when they go to warriorplanettanks.com and why you don't want to ship to California? Why is this illegal here?
Yeah.
Everything, all the little puzzles start to connect together. You see what I'm saying? And the whole thing, we get to cooking. You see what I'm saying? The responsibility, the onus, we take our hobby back so that what started this whole journey this year, it's been great. But me and Jorge saying, well, we got to do something. The white list, the blacklist, this is banned, that is banned. You got these organizations with their lobbyists and stuff, they money, but nobody that is representative of us as a conglomerate of hobbyists have anybody that can speak for our voices in an honest way to where we can say, yes, we acknowledge and accept any ecological impact, if it may be. However, this is not the way. And if anything, we are stewards of the earth and the environment. It would be counterintuitive for y'all to go through with said legislation because it's going to hurt the people who have entrusted themselves voluntarily through lifestyle or habit to accomplish the goals that this is supposed to achieve. So that's what I say, bro. That message heavy. The art is heavy.
Yeah.
When you push the card and you post it, people get on there. Fish police you to death. You can't do that. You can't do that. You can't.
Funny.
While it's swimming, you know.
Yeah, I've never had an issue with fish police. They've never come after me.
I think they scared of you.
Knock on wood or something.
You ain't got to tell. They probably scared of
uh, yeah, I would. To be honest, though, like I was never really the type to overstock a tank.
you. Right.
But funny enough, I thought they were gonna come after me because of that Florida, the swamp that we were just looking at. Because I brought the
Right.
water halfway down. I had, I want to say, at least 15 fish in there, all small though,
It was
But
just that
they
inclusion, though.
thrived. They thrived.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, this right here, we're gonna make it viral. We're injecting this mentality into social media when it comes to the hobby. The whole point is relevant information that is accurate. And then with that whole word accurate is the accountability to say we're going to hold each other accountable, but we're not going to be jerks.
Yeah.
We're going to make an environment to where we can be objective and we elicit, I be damn, you got a point reaction versus the damn you reaction. That's not what we want. We want the, well, you know what? Maybe damn, you got something. I didn't even think about that way. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. We need that in the internet. It's not on the
Unfortunately,
internet yet.
the world isn't built like that anymore, man.
Well, I got hands and so do you. We building right now, bro. What you talking about? We building right now.
Mm-hmm.
And that's that testimony. Moving into it, right? What's next? What are you doing now to inspire? What you working on? What you got cooking? Because Jorge, he had a whole pendulum shift. Done got tanks. I kind of was vigilante and vigilando vicariously. He got things having babies and stuff. I see he got him some little epiplatus in there, little clown killies, everything. Like, that what's that word? Not mature. It's another word. It's not old either, but one of them words when you get good and it's
Wise.
not. No, no,
No,
not
it's just
wise. It's too early
I
for
think
that.
I've just had a growth in the hobby. That's all.
It's
You
what it
just
is.
you start appreciating what you like instead of what other people want you to like. And it's just one of those things. Actually, the biggest
That's it.
struggle I have right now, the biggest fight that I am having internally is whether I set up that 300 or not. I'm not sure that I want that aquarium because it just kind of takes out of everything that I wanted to do. There's always that idea that I could set it up and make it where I keep this, my type of tanks. What I do. Um but by doing that, I feel like, well, shit, now I got to get rid of other tanks because that's going to take up so much space. And that's where the struggle is. Do I
Yeah.
want to get rid of all the tanks that I have
Hmm.
and set one big one? Or I just don't know. That's why
Rack
I've
them.
already got everything I need to repair that aquarium, and I haven't done it. I haven't pulled the trigger because I am second guessing whether I really want a 300-gallon
Right.
aquarium.
Man. And
I
see,
don't know
this
if
is
that
how
makes any
y'all know
sense.
we ain't been talking because that was the last thing was he had went got him, y'all, and we talked then. And then he had them and he was setting up and then figuring out what he was gonna move, what was going, what was staying. Then school and the expo happened. I had to tuck down on that plus holidays. Now here we are, and I told Kory, like shit, me and Jorge, we ain't even talking. He was like, cool. It's gonna be like we all catching up, and that's literally what we're doing right now, right
Yeah.
now. Of like, damn, I gotta try to figure out a way to talk you into keeping it, cause like maybe rack them, but we're gonna have to do that off the air. But like, look, y'all, this is how the hobby develops, and it's like, I think I got some solutions because I was right where you at with the biggins, you know that, and then I got this big boy here. And to answer your question, sir, yes, they still make EHIMs. That's what I got. I got a closed loop in here. I got a 600 outside, and I got so much. I got EHIM stuff here. I like. Hey, you know why? Because you only got to buy it once.
Yeah. That's my
I was
favorite
telling
part
my
about
son
it.
that. But yeah, you can rack them bad boys, Jorge,
Oh, I
and
know that.
then
It's just like I
put some
said.
plants in there.
Yeah, I mean, I could do all of that. I can translate all of that over, but it's just the idea that you know does this make the direction of where I was going change? That's the thing. That's and again, this is just a personal
Of
struggle that
course
I'm
it
having
does.
with myself. Because I was really starting to get into look, my heart, I've found it really falls in with nanofish. That's that's
Mm-hmm.
Can
that's
I
my
can I
realm.
say can I say something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why is that gonna change with a bigger tank?
Uh because then it opens it up for other possibilities that you could keep that I had not contemplated. Like I know I've always loved frontosas. Now
Mm-hmm.
having and I've never kept them because unless you have the appropriate space for them, you know, I wouldn't keep them. Hence
I
why I
want
think
some. Almost got some.
I've always gravitated towards the nano because the nano you can get away with keeping in a 20 long and they'll be perfectly happy.
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell you this right now. Frontosas are some of the slowest growing species
Mhm.
out there.
Mm-hmm.
And it varies by collection point. Um, I
Yep.
think
Thank you for
the
saying that.
deeper
Thank you for saying that.
I think the deeper they're found, the slower their growth is. Burundis are some of the faster growing, and they're kind of found in the northern part, not as deep as say Zaire is Congo. Um,
Mm-hmm.
Actually, the Democratic Republic of Congo used to be the Republic of Zaire before, which is how the blue Zaires got their names because they're blue and they're from the Congo Zaire. Um,
Mm-hmm.
some of those fish, if I were to give you some babies, you'd be able to keep them in a 20 gallon, probably almost a year. um, no issues, and just gradually move them up. I always encourage everybody that wants to get fronts, and like I just don't have the space. I'm like, well, get some babies, grow them out. By the time you're ready for space, they'll probably barely be ready to get moved over.
Yeah, so it's that's been the thing though, because it kind of it opens the door to a world that I hadn't really contemplated.
I'll
I guess
tell you
that's what
this
it,
right now. If you're talking about Lake Tanganyika, dude, you are gonna fall
well,
into
that's what I was getting
Yeah,
at.
that's a rabbit
I
hole.
love the Calvises.
That's
I
my
love
favorite lake. One of them.
it
There's another
is
one. I'm not
my
even gonna
favorite
mention
lake
it.
by
It's a
far,
hole,
and I love Lake Tanganyika. There's so much
bro. It's
biodiversity.
like Avatar.
I
That lake is its own Earth, like its own galaxy. It's
George, can I recommend the fish to you?
sure.
Something that stays a little smaller. Try to
retarded.
get your hands on some Tanganyikan killifish.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I got you. I got you. Tell him again. This is great. Look, this is perfect that you run this up. You said the type locale of the frontosa, Burundi. That's a common one. That's a pretty household type locale that's starting to get people even saying, oh, they got more than one kind of frontosa. That's good. Then that valuable deck plate experience, the Navy terminology. You keep fronts. You got fronts. You have beautiful fronts. You have experience with them. They swimming with you right now. You don't have to argue with nobody. They trying to get their shit to look like yours. And you just very calmly and coolly reassured big homie George and everybody else, hey man, I always encourage people if they want to get fronts, go ahead and get you some babies. Do your little research. By the time you get ready and they get ready, more importantly, for the space they gonna need, which show that you put some foresight into having them, you'll be ready. It's cool. Go on get them. Then you done brought up the killifish from Lake Tanganyika. This right here is the foundation. It's also how we can get you to keep that 300. Because what I was going to say is nanofish, they just going to be swimming in the 300. So
Yeah.
maybe have you thought another possibility? Not necessarily. Don't play down to your competition then along the lines of big tank, big fish. How about big tank,
No,
shitload of little fish? You
no,
know,
it's not even that. It's just
that'd be
what it
dope.
does open is the availability to other species that I had never really contemplated because I didn't have big aquariums. That's what I'm trying to get
Gotcha.
at.
Oh, I'm
And
tracking.
Since we're on the topic of Tanganyika, there are some bigger fish that are a little more peaceful. Like I don't know
Yeah,
if you can look up Bentochromis hori.
or is
George,
nice.
I know you
Briken
would.
is nice. All the Brikens are nice.
Um,
Yeah,
Sifo,
those are
super.
nice lamb pies.
Yeah, these are the Tanganyikan killifish I was telling you to get.
I'm about to give me some in a few days.
Look at that, man. They're beautiful.
I'm about to give me some. And oh my god.
Look up George. Look up Bentochromis hori.
Yeah,
I'm
that's a
trying to.
nice
I'm
one.
trying to. George.
You
George.
gonna go on and hook him?
Hey.
I have hey, you know what I got though, Kory, while he looking that up? I have been saying it on here. I've been doing these endemics, and if it's in the house, like floor space, making it matter, all that good stuff. For the kids, man.
Yeah.
Dr. Anthony, that whole thing. Oh, by the way, we was able to raise money at the charity for ARCA at the expo over the
Oh, cool.
past weekend or so. So that turned out good. We're gonna keep trying to look for more people to help. We walking the walk, baby. But the endemic that I had wanted, bro. I saw it on this circle, everything. I have them. It's got two names. What I got it as was a Plopchilethes Rancorelli. So Rango's lampi. It's just like the Norman, but they're not in the hobby.
Yeah.
The to give you like an idea of what it looked like, almost like a Normani, almost like a Norman clam pot. I think they're nicer. So
You'd be
I won
surprised
the
how many cool fish aren't even in the
yeah,
hobby.
I won the auction. I got some eggs.
Yeah.
They hatched in transit from California to Texas. And by the time I won the bid, I think half of that clutch was free swimming. I raised them to neonate, and then I raised them to juvie. They beat the shit out of each other. I found out. I have one female. I have one female left. A nice juvie female. Her name is Pamela. That's Pam. I just scored an adult mature pair over the weekend, over the expo. And there's no information about them. This is that one that I was talking about that I had to learn Dutch. Like all the information in Dutch for this damn fish. We get Jorge going down this rabbit hole of Lake Tanganyika.
He messed up. He shouldn't have said that.
That's what I'm saying. I have these fish. They're like one-on-ones. The internet is a symbiosis. It's an ecosystem, right? We are now connected more than we've ever been to where like we can do what we're doing right now. He's up here. He's looking at the Bentochromis. Finally. Look at this fish. Look at this fish.
Come on, man.
Look at it. Look at it.
George.
You guys are making me take out a second mortgage on my house.
Look at it. I got the 150 nice. Right now with the closed loop, the big boy running. Nice furniture too. I'm like that. I'm like you, Kory. I like OG stuff. I still rock a canopy. I don't care. Y'all can call me if you want to. I got the canopy and everything, baby. Closed loop. Make sure I ain't got nothing illegal. Closed loop, you know. But in that, you know what's in there, bro? Coptodon cote.
Oh, what? That's cool.
Yeah, endangered as hell. There's fry down now. I think a double clutch. I spawned them twice, 3 times, and then the only other thing in there with them is some those ornaments I told you about, the bristle note, the green dragons, and the super reds. That's it. Look at that fish, y'all. And this is what we're saying. Make this stuff go viral, y'all. It's not about telling you how to tank. It's just showing you stuff that's out there. How would you feel?
Centimeters.
You know, if you could do this and then, man, we didn't even know this was out there. And the same bread, I done saved all my money up to go get this damn Toro to kill. Man, I could have got this joint right here and had a badass fish, spawn them out, steward in the earth, you know, because now it's more of them. Even though they in my house, it's still more. And I didn't even know. Damn. We on the internet. We on social media. We trying to get followings and everything. Let's use it wisely and responsibly. I'm just offering that suggestion. I'm not telling nobody what to do. I'm keeping what I want. And what I want just so happens to be, you know, what I just listed off. It fits in those realms. These fish right here, I have been.
These are the what they call them, sardines or something like that.
This is this is Frontosa food right here, dude.
Yeah.
These are, yeah, dude.
I took
his avatar, bro. Y'all thought I was bullshitting. It's avatar, like my daughter say. Avatar, avatar.
So I don't know if you've caught this yet, George, but I'm basically giving you a list for your 300 gallon.
Yeah, I'm seeing that.
Let's go into the small one. Look at the Brycon. Look at the Brycon. It's a Cyprine kind of tetra. Type in Brycon.
The Brycon.
It's a big ass tetra. And they got them in South America too. And I want some for this.
Brycon. I believe this is the biggest tetra, right?
Yes, it's a nice one. Look at that big something. Oh, yeah. Look at that. wild type,
All right.
beautiful, perfect divot fish.
I see your
Yes.
bicon, and I raise you a native fish. You ready for this? Look
Raise
up
it.
red eye bass.
No. No. That's a nice one. Is that the
I wanna
Tuwani?
I wanna keep look at like the over to the right, two more, George.
This one,
One more over.
this one.
Let's look at that picture. Yes.
Look at his eye.
Look at that, man.
That's it.
Native to the United States. Now, don't go out and catch these and bring these inside, but I'm just saying,
No.
appreciate the beauty of this. Like, this is in
And look
our
at it.
backyard.
This triggers memories, right? Of never. This is for the little homies out there that's listening. I quit cussing for y'all, man. So listen, please. Never discount yourself. Don't get discouraged. Don't self-deprecate. Don't dumb yourself down to hang out with the cool kids, please. If you see something, if you have a hunch, if you have a notion, if you have a knack, and you can research it, you can prove it, you can substantiate it, then rock out with your cock out. I said it, I don't care. Simply because, like I tell my son, I'm gonna say it again, like I tell my son, if you are smart MFer and everybody else around you is a stupid MFer, what you gonna tell them? And even if you do tell them, and you try your best with all your faculties to break it down, to correlate it to them in the most palatable and digestible way, and they still crap on you, there comes a point where you have to realize, son, that number one, everybody is on their own stage of development at any given time. And number two, you have to accept and understand that everybody don't have the capacity to understand and appreciate what it is that you are trying to correlate to them. Just because they can't see your vision don't mean you blind, baby. You keep on trucking. And you say smuck them. You say smuck them and you keep it pushing. Don't discount yourself. Yep. Where did that come from? One time we was fishing and I caught a spotted bass. We have spotted bass in Southeast Texas. And I was like, cool, a spotted. I was happy about it because I knew it was a spotted because Roger Tory Peterson told me it was. Just saying. And the people I was fishing with was like, you dummy, that ain't no spotted bass. Ain't no such thing as a spotted bass. There you go, making up stuff again. You know, and then they started trying to clown me, talking about snuffleupagus, buffalophagus. Shut your old smarty ass up. Literally, bro, shit it all on me. And it's like, all it is one just a male and one is a female. You so smart, you dumb. You book smart, ain't got no common sense. And I'll share it. Let it out there, man. Whoever that may help, I want it to help you. I hope it do help you. But don't discredit yourself. Don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, look, I'm gonna say it like this. Look at the internet and look at the YouTube or whatever. I don't care if it's model airplanes, craft beer, you want to make some mead, I don't care. But any little niche that you might follow, it's a gazillion damn fools up there running their mouth, talking all kind of nonsense. And you know it's nonsense, and everybody else do too, because we petty. We run to the comments and we look to make sure we not crazy, to see the consensus. And everybody right there with you saying, boy, you stupid. Shut up, sit down. Right? Well, if they can get up there and do it and get cult followings and support and all that, and you know they wrong, they know they wrong, and everybody else do too. It's just for the sensation. Let that encourage you to keep doing what you're doing, knowing what you know,
Yep.
and just be objective. It's about education and understanding. You don't tell nobody they're wrong. We don't have that right. It's about education and understanding, literally. You know, you're not wrong. It's just, excuse me, I was led to understand it this way.
Yep.
You know, sugar sweet, you know, fire hot. That's what I was led to understand.
So
This is new. This what you bringing across me. I never understood it that way. Please help me. Please educate me.
yeah.
Never once did I say you wrong. Shut your stupid ass up. I've heard it a lot though.
Yeah.
Don't discount yourself. That's for the babies. You know,
Yep.
keep be like big homie up here, man. Look at his art. That's what I want to get at. You said your style, and then Jorge, you got to work. Y'all want to wrap it up? We over 90. For the people, real quick, and we'll end with this. Then you said style. I liked when you said that. That's why I started smiling. But you and Jorge was vibing. I like the word style. I know our culture. I know our background and everything like that. DJ Guppy Fish, what's up? We're gonna do shout outs too. Um, when you say style, when you say art, you've been keeping tanks since you've been keeping them, since you was a youngin, right? Me too, Jorge too.
Because before I remember keeping them.
Facts, okay. And you get a style, you get a trademark, a signature, a thing you always do, right? In your art, in your style, do you view it as tagging? Like if you was part of a crew, or you was even solo, freelance, and this my style, this how I slap them down. People that rock with me gonna be able to look at this and know I touched on it. What's your signature? Go.
I mean, I'd hope that my signature is that um, I was just in my head while you were talking. I'm always trying to figure out how to word it.
Take your time. Take your time.
Diorama, a diorama biotype is my style, dude. That's what I like.
I like that. I like that. Diorama tote.
Dioramatopia.
I like that. I've been doing dioramas the whole time too.
Yeah.
Would you call that a style?
Nah, just because so many people have been doing it before us that didn't make it onto social media. We don't know, like I think
Exactly.
it's hard to call it a style. I
Hmm.
I haven't seen it. Well, I have seen it done by biotopers, but the thing that they're doing is they're like trying to replicate a forest scenery,
Hmm.
something not underwater. I want that that gritty underwater biotopia where it looks like
Right.
if you look past it, you're going deeper into the damn lake or something.
Right.
That's
Right. Right.
that's what gets that's what gets me. I love biotopia. The thing that sucks is the bigger the tank you have, it's really hard to do it because I don't use fake rocks. I'm scared. Like I have a rock in my Frontosa tank. I think George. I don't know if you saw it when you were on the Instagram, but on off center, I never put the biggest piece of rock in the middle, but off center, using the rule of thirds, I
Right.
have a rock that I want to say it's probably about 80 pounds, and I was putting that into my fresh like 300 gallon, and I was scared shitless, but I was determined to put that damn rock into that tank, and it paid off. And on
I
top of
didn't
that,
care. That's why I was
like
smiling.
other rocks all around. You guys have seen my tank.
It's
It's
a big boy, boy. Yeah. Look, that's why you can. And when you said get harder, I was like, what you talking about? And then you was like, the big ass rock. Hey, that's the challenge. And you can do it. Excuse me. And the whole diorama part, same. This like this portal opened up, right? Of a
yeah,
philosophy. For me, I've said it in a lot of videos, and I say trees don't have fingers, right? And then I'll be spazzing out. I'll be sending Jorge rando ass videos with no context on WhatsApp and shit at odd hours of the night because he be working sometimes. Like when I was bringing this tank up, it's been months in the coming up of this tank, right? And the muddy water, all of that, right? And I had sent him this video. I don't know if I find it. It was just chocolate milk and foam and this. And I was talking shit. And I was like, yeah, take a look at this, baby. Right here. That's the power of an Ehine. And he sent me a message back talking about what the hell is you talking about? And I was like, you gonna see. I was like, I just put it on, and this Ehine is gonna take all their sediment out. And I mean it's crystal clear. And with the sticks, I was like, I just dropped them shits in there. There's been a couple live streams while we've been on, and it would be the knocking noise, and I would show y'all. I showed y'all that's these woods knocking. I use what's called the gravity method. I shit you not. I throw that shit in there. And when I say the portal open, being a kid, bro, watching shit happen. The water just running, the little whirlpool, all the sticks, all that shit, just watching it, just downloading all that information from the ether of Gaia, the mother, and understanding it in physics and bloop, 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 all that shit. This pump is running, the closed loop is circulating, the gravity, the water law, it's gonna fall where it falls. It has to. Throwing this shit in there, leaving it, and then I look at it now, and I think I had show white boy Tommy a picture of it, and he was like, "Damn, bro, that shit look like straight up a slice out of river somewhere." Why? Because I've been trying to perfect this method of how to replicate a windfall, a snag, a hang up, all these little different shits where these fish come from to make that diorama, that style, if you will, because the whole time I like to make my tanks to bring out the most natural behavior of the fish that I possibly can. And the only way that I ever figured out how to do it was to make whatever vessel that I had fish in, a lizard or whatever, to make it comfortable, nice, as natural as I could with what I had on hand. And I do think it is a style, bruh. We just haven't got the terminology quite yet to define it, you know? But
yeah.
all my tanks are like that. To the analogy of an insane asylum. Like, who would want to live in
Tasty.
that? Yeah,
I
I
don't want
saw
to
it.
interrupt. No,
No,
yeah,
they're gonna jump
I
off.
got, I got to run and
Yeah,
go do
no,
something
and
real
that
quick.
was it. That's why I was rushing. I saw the thing, but with that, man, hopefully y'all take that.
Well, you
And do
guys
what
don't
the
have
fuck
to get
y'all
off.
make.
I need a bounce.
Oh no, I
Direct.
gotta go too.
No, okay.
Yeah, I need
I saw
to
the
go.
time.
I'm gonna
It's
go
like,
comic book hunting after
Oh,
this.
that's right.
yeah,
Well, with that being said, I want to thank everybody for joining us today.
thank you.
You know, Kory, thank you so much. I know you're always busy, and I appreciate you taking time out this morning to be here with us. So,
Thank you for
uh,
inviting me on here. I appreciate you guys always. It's always fun talking to you
Yeah.
guys.
and as you all know, we got one more left before the year's over, and you know, well, that one's gonna be good. We're gonna have
It's gonna be good.
Lily Ichthyology joining us
Yep.
to close out the year. So hopefully we'll
Something
see you guys here in
fishy
a couple
on
of weeks.
YouTube and everything, y'all. Something fishy. I'm showing y'all that's it. Only a little bit of plants.
All right, guys. Well, you guys take care. I hate to bounce like this, but I got to go take care of something real quick.
No, it's all good.
Thank you guys again. Bye, everybody.
Already, y'all have a blessed one.